Introduction. Hey, Stoic warrior, let's face it, life today is noisy, chaotic, and overwhelming. Everywhere you turn, people are chasing attention, validation, and material things. They explain themselves endlessly, defend themselves to people who don't care, and spend precious time trying to control what's outside their reach. But the Stoics saw through this trap centuries ago. They knew real power isn't about chasing. It's about mastery of self. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca didn't just write about philosophy, they lived it. And the truths they left behind are just as relevant now as they were 2,000 years ago. These teachings aren't abstract theories. They're practical, battle-tested lessons on how to live with strength, dignity, and peace in the face of struggle. Today, we'll walk through 12 timeless Stoic lessons, 12 truths that can reshape how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and how you reclaim your inner power. Each one is not just something to hear, but something to live. By the end, you'll see why Stoicism isn't about detachment from life, but about living it more fully, with clarity and courage. So let's step into Lesson 1 and uncover the strength you've always had within. Lesson 1. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. At the heart of Stoicism lies one of its simplest but most powerful truths. You can't control everything. You can't control the weather, traffic, or how someone treats you. But what you can control is your response. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Imagine being stuck in the traffic on the way to an important meeting. You can curse, honk, and raise your blood pressure. Or you can accept that the situation is out of your hands. Breathe deeply and prepare yourself mentally for when you arrive. The external event doesn't change, but your internal state does. That's where your power lies. Think about this in terms of relationships. You can't control whether someone respects you, loves you, or treats you the way you deserve. But you can control whether you continue to engage, whether you allow their actions to define your worth, or whether you set boundaries and walk away. This shift is liberating. Instead of fighting against the tide of what you can't change, you redirect your energy to what you can. Your thoughts, your choices, your character. And here's the practical takeaway. Every time you catch yourself stressing over something external, pause and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. That act of release isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength because you're no longer giving your peace away to things beyond your reach. Lesson 2. Focus on your character, not your reputation. Here's a hard truth. People will always have opinions about you, and those opinions are not always going to be accurate or kind. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly that reputation lives in the minds of others, but character lives within. Reputation can be twisted by gossip, jealousy, or misunderstanding, but character is the one thing you fully control. Imagine you dedicate yourself to doing good work, but someone spreads a rumor about you. You can waste your energy trying to defend yourself, running around putting out fires, or you can stay focused on being the person you know you are. Over time, people of substance reveal themselves by consistent action, not by what's whispered about them. Think of it like this. Reputation is like a shadow. It changes depending on the light. But your character is the tree casting the shadow. It's solid, real, and rooted. I remember working with someone who constantly sought approval, always checking what others thought before making decisions. They lived in fear of criticism, and it drained their energy. Contrast that with a leader who does what's right even when no one is watching. Someone who makes tough calls because they're rooted in values, not popularity. Which one do you respect more? The Stoics teach us to anchor ourselves in our actions, in honesty, fairness, and discipline, rather than chasing the approval of the crowd. Build your character and let your reputation follow where it may. Lesson 3. Control what you can. Accept what you cannot. One of the most powerful Stoic teachings comes from Epictetus, who said, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." This simple line can change your life. Most of our frustration and stress comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Things like other people's opinions, the weather, traffic, or the outcome of events. Think of how much energy is wasted wishing someone would act differently or that circumstances would magically improve. By clinging to these expectations, we hand our peace over to things we can never command. True strength lies in focusing only on what you can directly influence: your actions, your mindset, and your effort. Here's a practical example. Imagine preparing for a job interview. You can control how well you research the company, how you practice your answers, and how you present yourself. But whether the interviewer is in a bad mood that day, or whether they've already chosen someone else, those are beyond your reach. By obsessing over outcomes, you invite anxiety. By focusing on preparation and conduct, you stay grounded. The Stoics remind us, when you stop trying to control the ocean, you learn to sail with the wind. The freedom that comes with acceptance isn't passive, it's active wisdom. You use your energy where it matters and let go of what never belonged to you in the first place. Lesson 4. Value time above all things. Seneca famously wrote, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Nothing is more precious than time, yet we treat it as if it's endless. We procrastinate, spend hours scrolling mindlessly, or dwell on past regrets while the present slips away." A Stoic understands that time is life's ultimate currency. Once spent, it can never be earned back. The question isn't how much time we have, but how wisely we use it. Ask yourself, if today were your last, would you be content with how you spent it? That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Think of two people. One spends their evenings binge-watching shows, always promising to get serious tomorrow. The other uses their time to learn, to connect with loved ones, to build something meaningful. 10 years later, their lives look radically different, not because of luck, but because of how they spent their days. Time is like a bank account with an unknown balance. Every day is a withdrawal, whether you like it or not. The Stoics encourage us to treat time as sacred. Invest it in what builds you, what matters, what lasts. Don't trade your life for distractions or trivial pursuits. Protect your hours the way you would protect your most valuable treasure, because in truth, that's exactly what it is. Lesson 5. See obstacles as opportunities. At the heart of Stoicism lies one of its most empowering lessons. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius taught that difficulties are not interruptions to life. They are life. Every obstacle holds within it a chance to practice virtue, to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you face a setback, you have two choices: complain about it or transform it into fuel. A broken plan can teach patience. A betrayal can teach discernment. A failure can teach humility and perseverance. The obstacle itself becomes the path to greatness when you choose to see it that way. Take Thomas Edison, who faced thousands of failed experiments before inventing the light bulb. Each failure wasn't the end. It was simply a step forward, an adjustment, an opportunity to learn. Imagine applying this mindset in daily life. You miss the train to work, and instead of fuming, you use the extra time to read or reflect. Someone criticizes you unfairly, and instead of sulking, you practice patience and composure. Obstacles reveal who we are and who we can become if we approach them with courage. The Stoic way isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about embracing it, knowing that what seems like a barrier today may be the very thing that shapes your strength tomorrow. Lesson 6. Detach from the opinions of others. One of the greatest traps in life is caring too much about what others think. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." When you hinge your worth on approval, you live as a prisoner to other people's judgments. Praise can make you feel inflated, while criticism can crush your spirit. Both place your happiness in someone else's hands. The Stoic way is to detach, to remember that opinions are fleeting reflections of others' perspectives, biases, and insecurities, not absolute truths about who you are. Think of this in practice. You share a new idea at work and someone mocks it. You could shrink back, feeling humiliated, or you could remind yourself that their comment says more about them than it does about you. Not everyone will understand your path, and that's okay. Your value doesn't depend on their applause. Epictetus reminded us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. By freeing yourself from the need for validation, you gain the courage to live authentically. Instead of chasing approval, you begin to anchor yourself in your values, in what you know to be true, and in the confidence that your life is yours to live, not theirs to judge. Lesson 7. Respond with silence, not anger. When someone provokes us, our natural instinct is to fire back, to defend ourselves, or to get even. But anger rarely solves anything. It usually inflames the situation and leaves us regretting what we said. The Stoics believed silence is often the wisest response, because it refuses to feed the fire. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best answer to anger is silence." By staying quiet in moments of provocation, you send a message far stronger than any heated words. You show mastery over yourself rather than submission to emotion. Picture this. A colleague undermines you in front of others during a meeting. You feel the heat rise in your chest, the urge to snap back. Instead, you pause, breathe, and say nothing. In that silence, you strip away the reaction they expected, holding on to your dignity and control. Over time, you'll find silence doesn't mean weakness. It's a shield, protecting you from words that don't deserve your energy. Think of silence like water against fire. It cools the heat and prevents destruction. By choosing silence, you protect your peace, preserve your relationships, and ensure that when you do speak, your words carry more weight and intention. Lesson 8. Practice gratitude to dissolve anger. It's nearly impossible to feel gratitude and anger at the same time. Gratitude acts like a reset button for the mind, reminding us of what we still have rather than what we've lost or what went wrong. Cicero called gratitude the parent of all virtues because it shifts our focus from lack to abundance, from frustration to peace. When you practice gratitude, even life's inconveniences lose their power to disturb you. Instead of feeding anger, you transform the moment into a lesson in perspective. For example, imagine being stuck in traffic on your way to an important appointment. You can either stew in frustration or pause and reflect on what you still have: a safe car, the opportunity you're driving toward, the music playing on the radio. This mental shift softens the grip of irritation and fills the space with calm. Gratitude doesn't deny difficulties, it reframes them. A rude comment becomes a chance to practice patience. A setback becomes a reminder of how much you've already overcome. By keeping a daily gratitude journal or pausing to count small blessings, you train your mind to lean toward peace instead of anger. In every moment, gratitude is the bridge that carries you from chaos to clarity. Lesson 9. Reframe criticism as a tool for growth. Criticism often stings because we interpret it as an attack on who we are. But the Stoics teach us to pause and reframe. Criticism is not always an insult. It can be a mirror reflecting blind spots we've overlooked. Even if delivered harshly, feedback can hold seeds of growth. Marcus Aurelius advised himself, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm mistaken, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek." A humble mind sees criticism not as a threat, but as a chance to sharpen itself. Consider a real-world example. You present a project at work, and your manager points out flaws. Your ego might flare up, but what if you chose instead to ask, "How can this help me improve?" Even poorly expressed critique can highlight something useful. Of course, not all criticism deserves your energy. Some comes from envy or ignorance. But by calmly sorting through feedback, you keep what helps and discard the rest. Epictetus once reminded his students, "If someone speaks ill of you, remember they don't know all your faults." Criticism, then, is simply a tool. When you reframe it this way, it no longer wounds you. It strengthens you. Lesson 10. Master the art of letting go. Holding on to anger or grudges is like gripping a burning coal. You think you're ready to throw it, but it only scorches your hand. The Stoics taught that resentment harms you far more than it harms the person who wronged you. Letting go isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from chains of bitterness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. By releasing the past, you reclaim your peace in the present." Imagine this. A friend betrays your trust. You could replay the hurt over and over, each memory reopening the wound, or you could let it go, not for their sake, but for yours. Letting go allows you to redirect energy toward growth, new opportunities, and healthier relationships. Lao Tzu captured it well. "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Whether it's anger, regret, or the need for control, the act of letting go lightens your load. Each release is an act of self-liberation, proving that strength isn't found in holding on, it's found in knowing when to release. Lesson 11. Live each day as if it were your last. One of the most sobering but empowering Stoic practices is memento mori, remembering death. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." This isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to sharpen your priorities. When you remember that life is finite, you stop wasting time on petty arguments, grudges, and distractions. You begin to ask, if this were my last day, is this how I'd want to spend it? Think about how differently you'd live with this perspective. You'd tell loved ones how much they mean to you. You'd focus on meaningful work rather than shallow pursuits. You'd savor ordinary moments instead of rushing through them. The Stoics didn't deny death, they embraced it as a teacher of urgency and gratitude. Each sunrise becomes a gift, not a guarantee. By living with mortality in mind, you stop drifting aimlessly and start living with purpose, presence, and authenticity. Lesson 12. Virtue is the highest good. At the core of Stoicism lies a guiding truth. Virtue is the only true good. Wealth, fame, comfort, or even health are valuable, but none guarantee a meaningful life. Only character, how you live, how you treat others, how you uphold integrity, determines your fulfillment. Epictetus taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By making virtue your compass, you anchor your life to something unshakable. In practice, this means asking yourself in every situation, what is the honorable thing to do? Whether at work, at home, or in private, choosing honesty over deceit, kindness over cruelty, courage over fear, these are the choices that shape true greatness. Material things come and go. Reputation rises and falls, but virtue is yours to cultivate daily in every choice you make. The Stoics remind us, you can't control the world, but you can control the kind of person you become. And that, above all, is where real freedom lies. Conclusion: sculpting a Stoic life. As we reflect on these 12 timeless lessons, one truth stands out. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming cold. It's about living with clarity, strength, and virtue in a world full of chaos. The Stoics understood what we often forget, that life is unpredictable, people can be unkind, and circumstances will challenge us at every turn. But they also knew that within each of us lies the power to choose our response, to shape our character, and to rise above what we cannot control. Every obstacle, every criticism, every fleeting moment of anger or fear is a chance to practice wisdom. And when you embrace this philosophy, you don't just survive life. You live it more fully, more deeply, and with greater peace. Think of these lessons as tools in your daily life. When you're wronged, you can choose forgiveness over anger. When setbacks appear, you can transform them into opportunities. When time slips away, you can honor it by living with purpose. Stoicism isn't confined to dusty books or ancient writings. It's alive in the way you speak, in how you act, in the choices you make when no one is watching. Each day you are sculpting yourself, just as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca once did, not out of stone, but out of actions, habits, and values. And as you keep shaping yourself through virtue, gratitude, and resilience, you'll discover what the Stoics knew all along, that the good life isn't found outside of you. It's built within you, one choice at a time.